And other guys are just sausages.
But if I fight Ilia or Arman, I'm on an absolutely rinse their lives.
Tem kimono para você segurar e fazer o judô.
Eu tô fazendo por amor, pô. Tá porra! Let's go, fight! You a fucking lost!
I need a, no. I need a title fight. I need a title fight and become a champion, and I'll be the biggest star in UFC.
And if you win the title, who do you want more, Ilia or Paddy Pimblett?
Both of them same night. Easy, man, easy. But it's a nightmare for somebody.
Question for Dana. Question for Dana. Dana, over here on your right.
I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. We're good.
The stylistic matchup between Arman Tsarukyan and Mauricio Ruffy. The question of whether Tsarukyan can manage Ruffy's striking is a legitimate one. Ruffy has established himself as one of the most creative and unpredictable strikers in the entire UFC. Not just at lightweight. Arman message to the UFC is simple. Once he becomes champion, they'll finally have no choice but to give him the attention he deserves.
Которые они хотят видеть.
Ты сегодня считаешь себя полноценной звездой UFC?
Нет.
Почему?
Потому что меня знают не от UFC, меня знают от меня самого. UFC еще не прикладывал сил сделать мне звезду. Когда они начнут надо мной работать и меня начнут пиарить, тогда я стану звездой UFC.
На какую-то звездность и медийность же не влияет, там просто чемпионский пояс, например.
Чемпионский пояс меняет все. В медийном плане отношений.
Breaking down his prediction, MMA Guru stated it's extremely likely the UFC will officially announce Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira II during the fight week build-up. He pointed to the timing and the current state of the division as key factors, noting that with Tsarukyan booked against Ruffy, the lightweight contender picture is starting to take clearer shape, and a Gaethje-Oliveira rematch would add a massive piece to that puzzle.
But what I can see the UFC doing, you know this is what's going to happen. Gaethje versus Oliveira 2 is announced this fight week. I'm telling you that right now. You can put that in your calendar. At first I was thinking they better announce Oliveira versus Gaethje 2 for the World Championship before this fight gets made, because if they announce it afterwards, there's going to be uproar about Arman. But Arman just beat Huffy, and now they could pull a crafty UFC evil move and announce it the week after this fight is done. If Arman Tsarukyan wins, then they book Oliveira versus Gaethje 2.
What's more, Paddy Pimblett had no such praise for Arman Tsarukyan. In fact, he made it clear he has no respect at all for the Armenian-Russian contender. And circling back to the bigger picture, Pimblett's willingness to call out both Topuria and Tsarukyan shows he's not just looking for easy fights, he wants the biggest names in the division. Whether it's settling a beef with Topuria or proving his worth against a grappler like Tsarukyan, Pimblett is betting on himself and positioning himself for the kind of fights that could define his career.
Gonna absolutely terrorise them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if a fight like Max Holloway or Charles Oliveira, I wouldn't, because I respect them and I like them.
Yeah.
Like, I respect, don't get me wrong, I respect Ilia, but we've had beef for years. I think he's a little helmet. So I'd love to fight him and give him shit. But Arman, I don't.
That's a phenomenal, bro. He calls people sausages. It's the best fucking thing in the world. I'm telling you.
Arman Tsarukyan, I've got no respect for at all. He's just a rich kid. He's like, daddy's a millionaire. You know what I mean? So
where does the respect come from in fighting? Like the guys that you respect versus don't respect. Like
it's the fighting. Arman's a good fighter, like, to be honest, but I just can't respect him.
Adding to that, MMA Guru also made it clear that while he expects the Oliveira announcement, he believes Arman Tsarukyan deserves a title shot as well. The creator argued that Tsarukyan's resume and performances have earned him a crack at the belt, and that the UFC should be considering him alongside Oliveira and Gaethje for the next lightweight title fight. Guru's comments reflect a recurring tension in the lightweight division, where a deep pool of contenders means deserving fighters often get caught in the waiting game. Whether it's Oliveira, Gaethje, or Tsarukyan, the division is stacked with talent, and the UFC's matchmaking decisions will shape the title picture for the next year. For Guru, the message is clear. Don't forget about Arman Tsarukyan.
At MSG in the main event in November, which is an amazing fight, by the way, and that's some big news in itself. But I just know they're going to drop the announcement of Oliveira getting the title shot this fight week. It's in September. It would be an 8-week later announcement to November at MSG. It would get people talking in the build-up of the Arman Tsarukyan fight anyway. Like, damn, the UFC really don't like Arman Tsarukyan. I can already see a top comment like that on an Instagram post of Oliveira versus Gaethje being announced.
Running through the process of elimination, Chael Sonnen has laid out a fascinating read on the lightweight title picture, arguing that several top contenders are being systematically removed from the board. With Arman Tsarukyan and Mauricio Ruffi now booked, the pool of available challengers is starting to shrink. With Tsarukyan and Ruffi set to face each other, and Gaethje seemingly unwilling to run back his losses, the UFC may have to look deeper into the rankings or wait for one of the current contenders to separate themselves from the pack. For Sonnen, the narrowing field is a sign that the lightweight division is in a state of transition and the next title challenger might emerge from a place no one is expecting.
That doesn't actually mean that he won't do a rematch, by example. But let's operate under that. If he's not going to do a rematch, Ruffi was a legitimate possibility. Tsarukyan, very clear #1 contender. So now if you're not doing rematches, you're taking Paddy off the table, you're taking Max Holloway off the table, and you're taking Ilia Topuria off the table. Does that open the door to Usman Nurmagomedov? Yeah. It opens a couple of doors, but yeah.
Circling back to the contender puzzle, Chael Sonnen has landed on a surprising conclusion after eliminating other candidates from the lightweight title picture. With Tsarukyan and Ruffi booked, Gaethje avoiding rematches, and several other names falling out of the running, Sonnen deduces that the leading candidate to face Justin Gaethje for a world title is none other than newly free agent Usman Nurmagomedov. What's more, Sonnen also touched on the potential for a fight between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett, though he expressed skepticism about how competitive that matchup would be.
Now, the reason I don't have a level of confidence in telling you that Gaethje is going in the direction of Usman, the reason I don't have a confidence in telling you that fight was extremely competitive, I just don't know if you all accept that. I mean, I've read a lot of the narratives and the belief of what happened in that fight, but your lying eyes are fooling you. That was a wildly competitive match. But is that enough? Is that enough for me to step in and say that was competitive and therefore? I think maybe the biggest fight of all of those, by the way, is Ilia Topuria versus Paddy.
To what's next for Arman Tsarukyan if he gets past Mauricio Ruffi, the lightweight contender would find himself in an incredibly strong position. A win over Ruffi, a dangerous, creative striker who has been on a tear, would add another significant name to Tsarukyan's resume and likely push him to the front of the title conversation. Charles Oliveira's next move uncertain, and Ilia Topuria out of the immediate picture, Tsarukyan has a real chance to stake his claim. If he handles Ruffi in impressive fashion, the UFC may have no choice but to make him the next challenger for the title, and that's exactly what he's been waiting for. That wraps up our look at what's next for Arman Tsarukyan after UFC 331. Let us know in the comments, do you think he gets the title shot with a win over Ruffi? Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.